Actually, I'm gonna downgrade Proots. You convinced me. I'm gonna give him a 5 out of 10. Mexican's play was
Yeah.
good, so his grade remains 8.5. Mexican raises the button to
Oh,
125.
okay. Makes more sense now.
PKR Fike, Swedish Reg folds. And we've got Proots. I've seen his name
Where's-
before, but I don't really know anything about him. I think he's a reg. So he does go for a reg 3-bet sizing, raising to 600, so 12 big blinds.
Okay.
And Mexican is likely going to call. He does.
Okay, so they're playing pretty deep.
All right, so Proots uses a half pot sizing here, whereas most people tend to use a third pot or even a quarter pot sizing. So he may have some checks in there. Maybe he checks the flop with something like ace four suited sometimes, or kings, or maybe like if he has like 10 out of spades, right? Like absolutely nothing. Oh, or maybe he uses his entire range for the sizing still.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't know if he's a regular fish yet or with Brooke.
I believe he's a regular of some sorts.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he's not a guy who regularly plays high stakes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, kind of like the kind. This is kind of the new school, right? With poker, you have this like rarely a fish, but like more like this like reg fish guy, like a blurry line between like a regular fish. Big
Yeah.
like you're like okay to have him at your table, but I mean you're
You're
kind
not
of
bluffing
like
it. Yeah.
yeah, you're
I,
kind of playing a reg lineup in a
Sure.
way.
I believe this guy is actually a reg. He's just somebody who doesn't play 25-50 very often.
Okay.
So maybe he plays like 3-6 or something usually, or maybe 5-10 or 2-5. So
Yeah.
anyway, he does bet 3/4 pot here on the queen. And Mexican this deep could have pocket queens. He can have hands like ace, queen, maybe queen eight. Maybe he still has hands like fives and eights. So Proots cannot go too crazy here. So he's representing about like ace king plus. Maybe he's got something like ace jack of diamonds or ace ten of diamonds sometimes. Maybe with no flush draw too, but he's got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, let's go Mexican. I guess he's gonna call with his ace queen. I'm putting Mexican and ace queen here. Damn it. Sorry, Mexican. Oh, okay. Snap check. Okay, ace queen is good.
So
Interesting.
on the river, the thing is Mexican can have all the ace x plus diamonds, right? He can have 8x plus diamonds. He can still have hands like king 10
Yeah.
of diamonds. So he
Yeah.
can. So what are his bluffs? He can have hands like 6-7 of diamonds, right? 10-9 of diamonds. So Mexican has quite a few flushes. So Proots has to
Yeah.
be very, very careful here. So
Exactly.
I like
bad run out for Brutes here. Yeah.
I like the fact that he checked. And now Mexican, you know, maybe he bets 2K, 3K, all in. He does go all in. So Mexican is basically saying he's got a flush, and that's mostly it. If he has king 10, it's going to be with diamonds anyway. Maybe he has a set for value, but maybe not even, right? So he's basically saying
yeah,
he's got
I'm
a
curious
flush.
what you think. His weakest value bet is here for Mexicano.
Well, for sure he's got a flush for value.
Yeah.
Well, king 10 is a flush itself, so I mean, what else should he have, right? Like pocket eights maybe? Pocket fives
Do you think
maybe?
he shoves like ace queen?
Maybe, but probably not. Because he's shoving for almost 150 big blinds, right? And Proots could definitely check a hand like a set himself in the river. He could, I mean, if Proots had a hand like ace 10 of diamonds, it would actually be a pretty sweet check. Because now you're blocking as like king 10 of diamonds, you're blocking like other ace high flushes, so, you know, hoping that Mexican maybe turns something into a bluff. The Mexican maybe calls the flop with like king of diamonds queen or something, right? Or he has some kind of king queen hand and he just shoves it as a bluff to get Proots off a hand like 2 pair.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, it would be a nice place to like check some traps as Brutes. I mean, yeah, let's see. Still putting Mexican and ace queen.
Well, you were wrong.
Oh, okay.
So Mexican's play might make sense, right? Call pre-flop, call flop, call turn, and on the river he goes all in. So he can use another sizing if he wishes, but I think his line is pretty good. As for Proots, I think the pre-flop 3-bet is obvious. The flop size could have been smaller, but I do like the turn bet. And on the river, the check is pretty clear. I wouldn't even like a non-all-in bet.
Yeah, definitely.
But as for his call, I mean, he can still call here with like the ace of diamonds, right, or the king of diamonds. So this is quite loose. He's got to put Mexican on a hand like, you know, king queen that he's bluffing with, right? Or a hand like maybe like king 8, stuff like that. Like maybe he has like king 8 of diamonds. Oh, sorry, that's a flush. Maybe he has to put him in like king 8 of spades, right? Just calling the turn of blockers and thinking, well, I'm gonna bluff him on the river. So he has to put Mexican on an aggressive range in order to make this call, because he's only got one pair and his blockers are not great. So I'll give Mexican. I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10. Oh, the thing is, I always rate Mexicans' plays very highly, which you may not expect.
Yeah, wait. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's played most of his hands quite well. And I'll give Prutz. I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely not liking his call down here, especially against Mexicano. But yeah, definitely not liking it. I guess it's more like a fish call. So he's kind of like borderline towards like the fish reg status here, or like live reg, or like old school reg status, old school suspicious reg. It's so hard for him to. I mean, I guess he just says, 6-7 and call 6-7 non-diamonds. That is.
6-7, king 8, that type of stuff. Maybe he thinks Mexican might even bluff in like ace 10. But probably not. So actually, I'm gonna downgrade Prutz. You convinced me. I'm gonna give him a 5 out of 10. Mexican's play was good, so his grade remains 8.5.
Definitely. Mexican, of course, nice. I like the shove, of course. It's a pretty good spot to shove the flush. Of course, like he can definitely like check call quite a few like strong hands, right? Like 8s, queens here, right? So kind of losing value if you're not shoving here as Mexican. So
he doesn't block any ace, right? If Mexican like ace 10 of diamonds, you're thinking, well, I got the nut flush, but this guy's not going to be calling me with very many hands. But with 8-7, that's more likely now. That lets it Prutz check like a set of aces on the river, and now he thinks about check calling.
Yeah. So definitely liking his play. Like Prutz, I don't like his call down for sure. I would still, I guess like a 5, because I mean the river was bad, but and up until then I guess it's fine. And then Mexicano, it's like I like it 8.39 this time. Yeah.
Wow, sick. Yeah, we got a 10k no limit hand with a panda, so that's gonna be good. We've got a cat. I have no idea what this is. And we've got a cat eye, so pretty good start already.
Yeah, got the heads up, changed his avatar. Have you been playing with him lately? Or like, what do you think about, if you have been playing with him, what do you think about his game nowadays?
He's gotten better, right? God of Heads Up has always been a guy who likes to put the money in, so he's calmed down a little bit. So he doesn't play so often, but when he does play, I think he plays pretty well. He usually plays mid stakes, but then randomly shows up at high stakes, even as high as 50-100 apparently.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
So good. NL Zwerver NL, which means like NL homeless person NL, which is a good name. NL bum NL, he raises. Nice guy, by the way. And Moonistar calls.
Oh yeah, we met him. Okay, damn it. Oh, human unfolded. Okay.
So we got a small c-bet here. What do you think?
I like it. I like it, definitely. I would be curious about like his game plan in terms of frequency, but sizing wise, I
think it's fine. This is just a board that doesn't really hit either person too hard. If anything, it hits the big blind harder, but it's still somewhat disconnected. So I don't know whether or not Moonistar defends 5-6 offsuit pre-flop. That's a big consideration, right? Whereas,
true.
NLZ definitely opens 5-6 suited in the button, but he definitely does not open 5-6 offsuit. So Moonistar will likely 3-bet 5-6 sometimes, but then he may have the offsuit straights. If he does, that's a big advantage to him. So that's hard to say.
Definitely. Yeah.
So NLZ check raises, or NLZ bet small.
What do you think, by the way? Most people here like regs at high stakes. Do you think they defend 5-6 off, or or not, or how often do you think they do, if they do?
Just some do, some don't. So I mean, I have a stat in the HUD that shows how much they fold pre-flop, but NLZ they make it small. Remember, so if NLZ, let's say like 3.5x is the button, like God of Heads Up likes to do, well then I have to assume he doesn't have 5-6 anymore, right? But if let's say he min raises the button, then they probably do.
Yeah, you have the secret, like this, the sick wizardry stats telling you everything.
Exactly, I got the secret HUD. Man,
Yeah,
I've seen.
the stat for
I was
5-6 offset or not.
Yeah, I was reviewing somebody's footage the other day, and the guy must have had like 150 stats in his HUD. It was like 6 HUDs and no poker table. I could see nothing, and like all of the stats were like 0, which is like 0 out of 0 because obviously you never, like how often does he check raise river while scratching his ass? Well, 0 out of 0 on the river so far, and it's like, yeah, well, why is this stat relevant? You're just, and I asked him like, does this tilt you when you can't see the table? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well then make your HUD smaller.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Check raise river while scratching your ass is not an important statistic, okay? Now, without scratching your ass, that might be a tell. That might be a tell you're nervous, and that means you're bluffing.
Yeah, exactly. Or
actually, the other way around, right? Like, if you scratch your ass, you're fidgeting, so you're nervous, so it means you're bluffing. Anyway, enough.
Live reads.
Yeah, enough live reads.
Okay.
Call back to star. Makes sense.
Check call. Okay. Starting off with the check call. I do expect a lot of check raising, I guess, here on this board.
Mm-hmm. And so the king, if NLZ end up c-betting the flop a ton, then the king is actually better for him. If he checks back a lot of king highs, then it's not as good for him. Moonistar could also be calling some king highs on the flop, right? If he has a hand like king 5, king 6, king 4, king 3, king 7, king jack, he can have a king. So this card is not so bad for him. It's it could be good for NLZ, depends. I don't know how often he bets his flop.
Yeah.
So he goes for the small overbet, saying he mostly has a king or better.
Yeah.
Moonistar calls. And the river is a deuce, which doesn't change a ton. Ace 5 gets there. So, but I mean, 6-5 was already a straight. So yeah, only Ace 5 really improves. Pocket deuces, I guess, get there, but that's not much of a consideration. So if NLZ was good on the turn, he's probably good on the river. Yeah.
Let's see what's going on here with Zwerver River. Let's see what sizing he chooses.
3/4. So he's probably representing like a good king or better at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, like you said, it's a pretty safe run out here for his range, for his value betting range on the turn. So definitely he can still be pretty aggressive, pretty loose and aggressive here. Now, like there is some potential storms ahead from being so deep that you can get into trouble, and I mean that's why poker is so cool. Mm-hmm. That you can get into a bit of trouble here, right? Like when you're using your small sizing, I would assume maybe he has a big size as well. Is he putting enough strong hands in his small sizing, or can Muniz just rape him here with the check shoves? I mean, I don't know. It's poker, bro.
Let's see.
Bros.
Is it possible that NLZ has like jacks for value? Probably not, right? But maybe. Who knows? Let's see.
Oh, okay. Guys have been saying like you can see like the hands in the title. Okay,
I know you can. I know you can. I just try not to look.
Yeah, I did not look because I did not know that was there. Okay.
Yeah. They say I'm clueless on Twitch and on YouTube. Okay, let's see.
Bang bang. Okay. So I'm guessing there's a
betting normal sizing, and Moonistar goes for the huge check raise. So at this point, he's not even representing 2-pair anymore. It's even difficult to represent a set.
Yeah.
So he's.
I like it how he went for like 10K. I was like, nah, this 3K, leave it here. Just gonna go for a 10K.
Yeah. So he's saying he didn't check raise 5-6 on the flop or the turn, or he's saying he has like Ace 5, but that's difficult to have, right? So. Other than that, can you have anything else? Not really. So
yeah, I guess it's mostly the straight. I mean, that's why he's making it so big, I guess, right?
Yeah, if you made it 6.5K, you would think maybe he does this even with 2-pair. Maybe he like didn't check raise a set of 4s, waiting for a safe run out. But he probably represents only a straight. Although it would be pretty sick to just do it with less. And so NLZ probably calls thinking, well, if this guy had 5-6, he would have played his hand differently. Ace 5 probably would have folded the turn. So he's actually not representing a whole lot, but he could easily be bluffing with hands like 7-5 or 7-6 or 4-5, 4-6 or like 3-5, 3-6 or maybe even a random hand.
I mean, ace-5 is definitely likely, right? With the double gutter on the turn. Again, shout out to us for not seeing double gutters usually, but definitely a good call and definitely a big part of his range. So, okay.
I would say
Damn
it's
has
possible. So yeah, NLZ had ace-5 this time, so I think the flop bet and the turn bet with the double gutter are fine, and on the river, I mean, he's probably thinking that when Muniz raises here, he's representing ace-5 or 6-5. So if he shoves it with ace-5 himself, then Muniz just folds bluffs, and then he just sometimes calls with 6-5, right? So unless he thinks that he makes him fold a split a lot, yeah, there's not much point in shoving. So yeah, I think NLZ's play is pretty sweet. I'll give him a 9.5 out of 10. As for Muniz, I'll give him a 7.5 out of 10. I know the ShowOfForce will give him like a 12 because it's a creative play. What do you think?
Overrated. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely biased towards create. I like people who have the heart for creative plays, for big bets, big balls plays. Yeah. First of all, I mean, here I would even maybe give even a bit more credit to Zwerver for having ace-5 off here. I mean, I don't know his river strategy. I don't know if he balances this hand in his small sizing or if he only has a small sizing here. I don't know. I guess you are more familiar with his game. So I do like that he did have ace-5 off here for the small size, so he cannot get raped nonstop. So I think I would give him like a 9. Yeah, I mean 9.41. And Muniz, I mean he does have 5-6 off apparently in his pre-flop defending range because he has 4-5 off. Check call. Yeah, I guess like 8.5. Yeah, 8.5, 8.54. I like that. Like, I mean, he's probably recognizing that, oh, wait, I do think ace-5 off is a decent part of my range on the river. So,
So what he's trying to do, he's trying to use the 5 as a blocker to ace-5 and 5-6, and having the 4 is sweet too, because NLZ might just call him down with a set of 4s, right?
Blocking pocket 4s as well. Yeah, exactly. So I do like the hand selection. So yeah, nice. I enjoy this hand. I appreciate the skills. The skills of this hand.
So yeah, it was a pretty sweet one. Most of these hands you see are pretty interesting. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the 4-5 off defend pre-flop, but wherever.
It's 10K. Don't pay much rake.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. Last hand of the day. Let's see.
Yeah.
10K no limit. We got Katya in there.
Yeah.
The original gangster with an Abramovich avatar. Ivy Run, who is a new guy who's been playing a lot of high stakes, min raises. He's got a sick avatar. Other than that, I don't know much about him.
Okay, yeah, I was curious. Okay.
So Katya flats the button saying he's got a hand which is too strong to fold but too weak to 3-bet. So maybe he's got a hand like King 9 suited or like pocket 4s, let's say. Maybe like Ace 4 suited. Maybe like King Queen off, that type of stuff. If he had a much better hand, he probably would have 3-bet. But maybe he thinks that God of Heads Up or Born to Tilt are crazy and he wants to, let's say, back raise against the squeeze.
Yeah.
He's getting a good price in position. And Born to Tilt defends. So 6-3
God of Heads Up defense.
Yeah. 6-3 deuce is a really good board for Katya because he could have all the sets, right? He could have 5-4 suited. Still a few overpairs. Ivy Run could have some of them as well. Actually, and God of Heads could as well. If God of Heads Up had deuces, 3s, or 6s, he would probably call. 5-4 suited. He would sometimes squeeze, sometimes call. 5-4 offsuit. Who knows? So this board is actually more relevant than it looks. Check. Yeah. Check. Okay. Check again by God of Heads Up. So he's saying he's got nothing or a decent hand and a couple of traps.
Yep.
Half pot bet by IV Run. Okay. He's saying I've got a decent hand but not a great one.
Yeah.
And God of Heads Up says, fuck your decent hand. I've got a really good hand or I'm bluffing. So God of Heads Up could be bluffing with hand like maybe like 3-4. Maybe a hand like Ace-5 or a hand like, Deuce-4, let's say. Some kind of blockers. And IV Run likely has a hand like, let's say, like, like a middling pair. At least that's what he's representing with the sizing.
Yeah. Kind of fucked. It's kind of fucked at this point, right? It's like, there's like the huge raise in there. I mean, yeah. Got a heads up, so I like it.
So
Okay.
the river flush gets there, and IV run can easily have a big flush, right? He can just have like
Yeah.
ace five of diamonds or ace 10 of diamonds because he called a really big raise. So does he really call with a bad flush draw? Maybe, but probably not. So I think IV run has the nuts here quite a bit. God of Heads Up will have the nuts less often, but he can still have them sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
I'm curious how he adjusts here, with like sizing or shit, like with God of Heads Up here. So I'm curious what he does here.
I'm guessing he goes for the small bet.
Yeah, I would guess.
Or not.
Small bet or check makes sense. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess it also depends, like if he thinks like IV run is a reg or not. Is he a reg?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh ho ho ho. Okay.
Okay, so IV run opens 10-8 suited, which is loose but alright, and he checks the flop. On the turn, I definitely like his bet. I mean, he's got a gut shot and a flush draw, no showdown value, and he can easily just pick up the pot, so I definitely like it. And then he calls the check raise, which is like okay, right? I mean, he doesn't have the best flush draw, but he does have a gut shot. And God of Heads Up check raise with the king 7 of diamonds, that's fine. Usually you bet, but check raising or you
Exactly,
call,
yeah. I would expect more like betting this hand, but yeah, I like it. He mixes it up, it up.
And so on the river, I mean, he could have bet big, he could have bet small, but definitely calling a shove because, I mean, he only loses to the nut flush. And, IV run could shove with a queen eye flush or like even a weaker flush sometimes, and of course he could still be bluffing, right? So maybe IV run has like aces with a diamond, and he just turns it into a bluff. So
yeah,
I
not necessarily say queen high flush, but
well, jack high flush, I guess.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, if you have jack 8 of diamonds here, it still counts as a queen high flush.
Yeah.
But I guess then this one does too.
That's true.
But I guess this one does too then. So
yeah. Interesting that he still thinks he can shove his 10 high flush here.
Yeah, so he probably thinks that if God of Heads Up had a bigger flush, he would have bombed it. He would have bet bigger. So he's maybe has a lower flush or something like a set, right?
Yeah.
But you see that God of Heads Up does a good job of mixing it up. So and he had a king eye flush, which is an easy call. So how do we rate this hand? I'll give IV run a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
And I'll give I almost said ShowOfForce, but I said
says show cards there.
Yeah, almost the same. And I'll give God of Heads Up an 8.5. What do you think?
Okay, I would give a ShowOfForce a 10. God of Heads Up, give him a like his play like an 8. I say like an 8 overall. It's pretty solid play, definitely. And I don't really like the shove from the panda guy under the river because like I mean it's so easy for you to have a flush and it's so hard to find blood. It's so hard to just get called by worse, I feel like.
Yeah. So he's gonna call and win a lot, right? But by the time God of Heads Up puts us an entire stack, IV run is not ahead so often anymore. But obviously he's not calling this hand on the turn to then hit and then fold against a 3/4 pot bet. Now he can still hit and fold against like a massive overbet, maybe, right? Yeah. But that did not happen. So it was a little bit light.
Yeah, so kind of like give him probably like 6 out of 10, like mainly because of the shove on the river. I don't really agree with that. It's I think it's a bit too thin. So that's kind of like how I would. Other than that, I think his play is fine. Yeah, I like the bet call and it's pretty okay. I like the check on the flop.
All right,
solid.
So
solid dragfish.
Yeah. So we saw a lot of pretty fun plays actually today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So.